Greetings, friends and followers. This is Nurses Talking. I am Del Barzi. As always, if you like what you see and hear, subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Here on Nurses Talking, we speak to nurses anywhere in the world and at any stage in their nursing journey. Today, I have the very great pleasure of welcoming Pamela Baptiste out of Florida, USA. Pamela is an nurse, an oncology nurse. She has more than 20 years experience. She's an educator. She's an author of the best-selling book. She's a best-selling author. Her book is The Flame Within. And she says her work centers on empowering nurses to rediscover purpose, resilience, and passion within the profession. And through her writing, she encourages nurses, especially nurses early in their careers, to nurture the inner flame that sustains the compassion within them, even in the most challenging healthcare environments. So, welcome, Pamela.
Thank you for having me, Dale. It's my pleasure to be here.
My pleasure to have you. But first of all, why you nurse? What brought you to nursing?
I believe nursing chose me as much as I chose it.
Hmm.
From early in life, I felt a deep calling and a care for others. And nursing became the path where my compassion and science meets. Over the years, that calling evolved into a mission. Yeah. And not only to care for patients, but also to uplift and mentor other nurses.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah. Um, you said nursing chose you as much as you chose it. But what about it, either becoming a nurse or now, what do you find most challenging?
One of the greatest challenges, I have to say, is emotional fatigue.
Hmm.
We carry the weight of patients, their stories, families, their fears, and even the demands of a complex healthcare system we're dealing with now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, and that emotional fatigue, we really do have to name it and acknowledge it because very often we just keep on going, um, not even recognizing it.
exactly. We just go and go and go until sometimes our peers, family members recognize it and say, hey, you need to take a break. You
Yeah,
got to slow down. You have to
yeah,
take care of yourselves. And I have learned that early in my career because sometimes, like I mentioned, that flame within, that passion, that drive to really care for them, you want to give your all. And sometimes you're depleting yourself
yeah,
and it takes a toll. Then you're running on empty and you have nothing else to pour into your
yeah,
patients. And
yeah.
that's not a healthy place at all.
Nope, nope. In fact, it's very unhealthy because what ends up happening is that in order to keep going, we sometimes make some very poor choices.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So, what kind of areas did you work, Pamela?
I started off in surgical while I was in nursing school. Different types of surgery. I've seen all different types of surgery from the head to the toe, different body parts.
It's
But my specialty was in bone marrow transplant. I
mm,
spent about 18 years um, caring for bone marrow transplant patients. I have seen so much, and the advances today with that is amazing.
it's
But
amazing, huh?
now I have transitioned onto a chemotherapy, immunotherapy infusions,
Hmm.
and I'm able to still see all those bone marrow transplant patients, the survivors. So it's
Yeah,
it's it's really
yeah,
rewarding for me.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing about being in healthcare in this and that. There's so much. It's so evolving so quickly, especially now. And there's so many fantastic, I don't know if fantastic is the word, but just so many things that we thought a few years ago were beyond what we could do. And now here we are just doing it, so
Yes,
easily, so quickly, it's really fascinating. It's really fascinating. I'm so happy that was able to live my life within the healthcare arena.
sure.
So seeing so much.
Yes, because we lived through all the paperwork, the bundles of charts, and now we're here into computer. We're moving into AI. It's so much
Yes.
happening. And
Yeah.
I'm happy too that I was able to see that previous charting system. And now being able to transition into the computers, I
Yeah.
see the younger nurses, if we have a computer downtime and we have, it's so funny. They're like lost. They
What
don't
am I
know how
gonna
to do
do?
things on paper. But most of them are open and they do it because you have to.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's I guess it's kind of like a reverse thing for them because I remember when we started using when computers were being introduced for things like charting, and so many people felt intimidated. Um, you got used to it and you did it. And I guess it's kind of the same in reverse.
Yes, I
So,
remember
yeah.
some nurses, like you said, it was fearful to them that they flee. They said, it's time for me to leave.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But anyway. But so here you are. You're more than 20 years in and you have the ability to look back and review. You've worked in different areas. What would you what if there's anything you'd like to see change, what would it be?
I would love to see environments where nurses are not just surviving shifts, but really thriving in their profession. Mentorship. I think that should be one of the items for professional development. Just like we have to go to our renew our chemotherapy certification, I think that mentorship, the emotional support, I think we need that. And the respect for the nursing voice is so essential because now we have so many doctors in nursing, nurse scientists, that there's so much evidence to see where nurses need that support.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, indeed,
Yes.
indeed we do. And you're talking about us being recognized in the way that we ought to be. And that really is going to depend on us. We're going to have to push that envelope and say, this is who we are. We
Yes.
have a lane. We don't belong in anybody else's lane. We're not part of your lane. We have a lane, and it's a very important and very necessary
Oh,
lane.
yes. Yes. We are the largest group in the
Yes.
healthcare system. We cover so many different areas, Dale. We have nurses working at home. We have nurses working in so many different
Mm.
areas that I feel like you said, we have to push that envelope and move forward because without us, they cannot function.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You talk about yesterday I came across the information about a nurse who was doing something that I probably should have thought of, but didn't. He's working on cruise ships doing dialysis.
Wow.
Yeah. And I
That's
thought, oh,
amazing.
yes.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
Dialysis at sea. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right.
Is that I that is really amazing. I know
Yeah.
they have nurses on sea, nurses that on the
Yes.
ships that cruise, but that
I
one,
hadn't thought about that. Yes, I hadn't thought about that, but yep. So, moving on a little bit, you're an author. Your book, I love the title of your book. it brings so many images to mind. It's the flame within, the flame within. So tell me about it. First of all, what inspired the title, or what came first, the title or the idea?
I just had to go to God for that one because I didn't know what to really to come up with a name. And I can just think of that burning desire. And that's where that name came up.
Mm,
Yes. And that flame within, that was born from my personal nursing journey. Yes, I had a timeline. I could have gone on and on and on, Dale, but I had to stop. And this book really speaks to every nurse. The nurses who felt exhausted, overlooked, or questioned their purpose.
yeah,
The
yeah.
message is simple: the passion that brought me into nursing and the skill that still lives within me. It's the passion is still there. For
Hmm.
instance, I love what I do. I love to care for my patients. I do get tired, of course. There's a time when we have to cut it off and take care of ourselves, but I love what I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what? I think that is true for most nurses. Um, Except that sometimes we do get overwhelmed. We do get overwhelmed. And I particularly think that's true, particularly in this time, because if you didn't love it, there's no reason to stay, not in 2026.
Oh, yes. No.
There's so there's so many other things you can do with that nursing license within the nursing field and even outside of it. So, I feel like those who love it, as much as we complain, and with reason, we love it.
Yes, we do. I think so for the
Yeah.
most part, most of us, especially, I have to say, uh, depending on your specialty, if you're staying in that specialty, you must love it.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. So we just talked about seeing things change as we look back. But when you look ahead, what do you think you see? If you look ahead, when I look back, to 2010, 2000, whatever it is, I no longer work in patient-facing areas, but when I look back, I can see the changes that have happened over those last 20, 30 years. What do you think you
Yes.
see if you look forward 10 years or so?
I see technology really evolving and the human connection, really, I'm not sure it can't be replaced.
No, no.
So we need both. We need the human connection nurses provide, and that will remain irreplaceable. But we
Mhm.
also we have to get in and, the technology.
Yeah, yeah,
All the technology and the innovation that's taken place, we have to be part of it. Yes.
exactly, exactly. We have to be, not only do we, I firmly believe not only do we have to be part of it, but if we want to be recognized as a full force in healthcare, we've got to lead a lot of it, I think.
Yes.
We've got to, otherwise, there are people who are going to design stuff for us that doesn't fit us.
Exactly. That's right.
Yes.
You're sure correct about that because I know sometimes they are building units and they bring in the architects and nurses are not involved. And they need to be because they're the ones that's going to be operating in that space.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So, I think we're going to have to push our way into knock down them doors and say, listen, you're not doing this without us. No way.
Yes, yes. And sometimes it's almost like the healthcare system is trying to dim our lights and dim our compassion, but we have to be courageous.
Yeah, yeah,
We have to be really courageous and move with mere
yeah,
diligence.
yeah,
Uh, It's
yeah.
it's it's just who we are.
Just who we are. It's just who we are. It's just who we are. So you talked about mentoring. You said, that you feel like mentoring should be included more. And talked about nurses not just surviving and thriving. And here's one thing I wanted to ask you. How do we match mentors and mentees in a way that both are benefiting from this experience? And I think that's probably what I want to ask. That both are thriving, because you know what? The mentor doesn't necessarily want to be a mentor.
No, no, sometimes they don't. But those that really want to mentor,
Mm,
and this is one of the things I did in my preceptorship
mhm.
a few years ago. You want to preceptor the nurse, you can um, see the drive in her, whether she has it or not, whether she has a passion. And you have to take it from there. You observe, and that's the way you mentor that individual, because everybody learns differently too.
Yes.
And you want to tap in to her, the way she wants to learn. You have to tap into her drive and take it from there. And I think that that particular trait, that style can really, you can really be successful with that mentorship. And I think the
Mhm.
nurse herself will be pleased with that, because mentorship is the bridge between surviving and thriving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 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 And it's a particular skill.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's a particular
Yes,
skill.
because some like to mentor and some don't. Yes.
Some and some mentors just become tormentors. And not for nothing, just like some of us are not suited in certain areas. I can't do home care. It's, it's not
Yes.
necessarily anything detrimental to you, or a bad thing for you. If that's not your lane, that's not your lane.
Exactly.
So, after all this time, what advice do you think you'd give someone who wants to be a nurse?
Make sure you really love nursing and caring for patients. You have to really, for instance, a new nurse that's going in and they know they have to go to the bedside. It's really important to do that part and see what you like, because there's so many areas in nursing that you can shift into and you can change over the years, but you must, it is a must, you must have the passion for what you're doing. If not, you're not going to do a good job, and that's important, because after you have your experience, you can either be a clinical informatics
You
nurse.
could do it. Hmm. Yeah.
You can be a legal nurse consultant. There's so many areas, but you really have to know what's your passion, really build on that, build on it excellent. So many nurses today, very new young nurses, are going in to be a nurse practitioner. And that's good. But if you're going to be a nurse practitioner, you still have to see patients and you still have to care for them. You have to communicate with them. You have to
Hmm.
educate them.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you really have to have a passion for what you choose. And
Yeah.
everyone is working hard today. There's no
Yeah.
easy way out. So if you don't like this field, if you don't like nursing, it's not your passion, then go into something else. There are so many things that we can
Mhm.
choose from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. As a nurse, you can be anywhere. I maintain that I still cannot think of any industry where a nurse is not useful, viable, and able to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So,
Yes.
so we talked a little bit about, burnout and surviving and thriving and all of that. But this all comes back to, as you said, you can't pour from an empty cup. So this all comes back to taking care of yourself. And so I want to ask you, A, what does self-care mean to you? And B, what do you do to take care of you?
Well, first of all, self-care is not selfish. We have to be able, it's so important that we have to be able to care for ourselves. And each individual has, they must have something they like outside of nursing. And that's what you do. I, one of the things is I get better, not older. We are not older. We're just getting better. I am planning on taking up golfing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's important to have some time with family and friends and bond. Yes. Picnics to do things like that, even with the church, there are different groups you can get involved in, and it helps with your self care.
Yeah.
Your own meditation, even spending a day at the beach. Oh, nature is just so it puts something else into you. So that just
Yes.
going outside and really taking a nice walk down the beach, all that's therapeutic and good self-care.
Hmm.
Yes.
You talk about nature and going outside and the beach, and you're talking my love language,
Yes.
It took me, it took me a long time to even understand that. That resonates so much with me and with so many other people because we're
Yes.
all part of the same big thing.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So,
Yes. As I've noticed that with myself the past few years is that I just want to be able to go outside and just take in the air, the atmosphere of outside instead of just being in the house or being at work. When you're at work, you're in the work environment. Sometimes you're not even able to see a window around you, and you
uh-huh.
get outside and you breathing that fresh air. It's just rejuvenating.
It is. It is. It is. It
Yes.
is. And sometimes we need to take a pause and do that because it revives so much that we don't even are not even paying attention to sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. So Pamela, this has been a great conversation. Anything you'd like to, any gems you'd like to leave us with before we go?
I just want to say it's been a pleasure talking to you and getting to know you more. I love connecting with my nurses because it's just something just like the firemen, the cops, the
Yes,
pilots, the
yes,
stewardess,
yes.
every area. It's like a sisterhood. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And there are some things actually, and maybe that's one of the reasons I do this, but there are some things that you can't communicate with anyone else, no matter how close that person is to you, unless
Sure.
that person is a nurse. There are some things that you can communicate sometimes without even saying too many words.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So thank you so very much for being here and for sharing this time. We can do it again sometime.
Absolutely. My pleasure to be on. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.